So section 6.2 is modeling tax schedules. This is where we are going to start looking at our tax tables. A flat tax or proportional tax. This is a tax rate that does not depend on the cost of an item. So a flat, like sales tax, for example, is considered a flat tax. Okay, it's a certain percentage and it doesn't change based on the cost. A progressive tax system. This is a tax rate that increases as income increases. This is actually on the ballot this November. All right, Illinois is proposing a progressive tax system where the more money you make, the more tax you would pay. The less money you make, the less tax you would pay. Tax bracket. These are the different amounts of income that are based on different tax rates. So each specific dollar amount has its own tax rate. And a regressive tax system, this is where tax rate decreases as income increases. This is very rare and something that really is kind of outdated. Off to the side there, you see your textbook, okay, and it's referring to problem number 1 here. So if you need to pause, now would be the time to pause and get your definitions down, and then just resume your video. Question number 1 says, on page 345, number 2, which is off to the right-hand side here, there are 6 taxable income intervals in this chart. Let X represent any taxable income. Express those intervals in the tax schedule notation, interval notation, and compound inequality. All right, so we're going to do a compound inequality here. On the left-hand side, you'll notice you want your lowest value, and on the right-hand side, you want your highest value. Okay, so if you look over here to the right, we have our tax tables right here. Okay, you'll see over $0 but not over 92 or 92.25. Your lowest value is 0, your highest number is 92.25. Then your next interval, you have 92.25 all the way up to 37,450. You'll notice it says but not over. So that means it can be equal to 37,450 but not over that number. Okay, so if you come over to the side here, your lowest number was 0 and your highest number was 92.25. So X is somewhere smaller or equal to 92.25. Your next number or range was 92.25 all the way up to and including 37,450. And then you'll notice you start your low with that high number, 37,450. So bigger than 37,450, but smaller than or equal to 90,750. And again, that's coming right from the table to the right. Okay. And then kind of skipping ahead a little bit, we have 411,500 all the way up to 413,200. Okay, and then our last row, the only tricky one there, is 413,200 all the way up to infinity. It doesn't have an endpoint. If you look over here, it doesn't have an endpoint in your chart. So anything you make over 413,200, you'll pay that tax rate of 39.6%. Okay. Number 2. See page 345, number 4. Write a piecewise function to represent the tax for the first 3 taxable income intervals in the schedule for a married taxpayer who is filing separately. Okay, so for this one, we are going to look at, again, the table off to the right. All right, we are looking at the first 3 taxable incomes. So we know that we're going to have our f of x, because it tells us in our problem, f of x equals our minimum tax. So our minimum tax for our first level over here to the side is, you'll notice this line right here. Okay, our minimum tax is going to be, for the first 3 taxable incomes, is going to be $922.50, which is right here. Okay, $922.50. Where it says the tax is. So your minimum tax is $922.50 plus our percentage, which is 15%, so 0.15, so your percentage, times X, which is our maximum value. We don't know that max value yet, minus the maximum amount in that category. Okay, so the amount over 9225. Okay, so to review that again, and you can get this equation from the line here. So I'm looking at, let me erase some of this stuff here real quick, and I'll show you exactly where these numbers are coming from. I'm looking at this line right here, for example. Okay. Your minimum tax for that is $922.50, where it says the tax is right here, $922.50, plus 15%, so plus 0.15, times any value. All right, we're trying to figure out the value over, where it says the amount over 9225. Okay. Let me show you the second one then, or the third line. Okay, so for our third line, if we're going to look at that one, we're going to look at this one right here. Okay. It's going to be your minimum tax, which is $51.5625, plus 25%, 0.25, times the amount over, which we don't know yet, the amount over $37,450. Okay, so that's where those numbers come from. It's just an equation, and you get all the information from the table. Problem number 3. It says, use the 2006 tax schedule for a married filing jointly. Okay, married filing jointly. Write the piecewise function for the tax interval. All right, just a quick correction on number 6 here. For number 6, it says to use your 2012. Okay, so over here, make sure you cross this out, and we're going to use the 2012 version. Okay, so if you look over at your textbook, you see the 2012 tax schedule right here. Okay, that's the one we are going to use. We're going to create our equations for this one. So based on your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different rates, we're going to have 6 different potential equations. Okay, our first one. Okay, our first one is going to be 10% of your tax. We don't have a minimum tax here, so we don't need that part. Okay, so our minimum tax is just going to be 10%, so 0.10x. 10% of your tax, no minimum tax for that one. And the amount over $0, so it doesn't change. Number 2. Okay, number 2, you're going to have your minimum tax for the second part there is $1,740. So $1,740 plus 0.15 times X minus 17,400. The amount of over, which we don't know, minus 1740 or 400. Okay. Our third one is going to be 9735, our minimum tax, plus 0.25 or 25% of the amount over 70,700. Okay. Our fourth one, right here, our minimum tax is $27,735 plus 28%, so 0.28, of the amount over $142,700. So X minus $142,700. Okay, and then just to kind of sum up our last one here, we'll skip ahead a little bit. Our minimum tax is $105,062. Okay, plus 35 or 0.35, 35% of the dollar amount over $388,350. Okay, so those are your equations for that problem number 6 from your textbook. All right, problem number 4 refers to number 8 from the textbook. So in 1998, you have your tax rate schedule over here. We're going to do the same kind of thing. We're going to set up our equations. So your first equation is 15% of any income. All right, any income to start off. So that's going to be 0.15x, 15% of your income. Second equation is going to be right here. Minimum tax of 3802.50 plus 28% or 0.28 of the dollar amount over 25,350. So x minus 25,350. Okay. Then we have minimum tax of 13,896.50 plus 31%, so 0.31. 31% of the dollar amount over 61,400. Okay. Then your next one at the 36% rate, minimum tax of 34,573.50 plus 0.36, 36% of the dollar amount over x minus 128,100. Okay, and then your last one, the tax rate of 88,000, minimum tax of 88,699.50, tax rate 39.6, so point plus 0.396. Remember, move it 2 to the left of the dollar amount over 278,450. Okay, and there's your equations. We'll talk about the intervals here a little bit later, but I just wanted to get the equations. That's the most important part right now.